Welcome back, and yes, indeed, it's Global Business. And here are the headlines that we are tracking at the moment. Starting out from Africa, where it's reported that Burkina Faso is expelling foreign gold miners for local producers. Also, outside Africa now, revolt calls out Meta for failing to combat fraud. And from the Asian continent, China advocates use of local AI chips over NVIDIA chips. And I'm about to bring you details of these stories and more. My name is Ubong Kings. We begin with business stories. That is from West Africa, where it's reported that Burkina Faso, for some time, has been on a campaign to rid itself of Western influence and is looking to increase its gold autonomy by revoking the mining permits of several foreign miners within its borders, as the country intends to bolster production of gold via indigenous mining establishments, putting several foreign mining companies in the country at the risk of being expelled. However, the president of the country, Ibrahim Traore, who was commemorating his 2 years in power over radio broadcast recently, made the revelation but held off on the companies whose mining permits would be withdrawn. Now, quickly, let me emphasize a few things right now, just for sake of clarity. The story, first paragraph of this story reads that Burkina Faso, which of course for some time has been on a practical campaign to rid itself of Western influence. Now, this can also be said of almost all military government-led countries in Africa, plus some other countries, which is of course sympathetic to the BRICS movement. But now, why is there a sort of deliberate campaign by these countries to rid themselves from the influence of the West? Well, I guess that'll be a story for another day. And moving on to other stories making the rounds, let's move on to, but still from the mining sector, to may interest you to know that, hundreds of Ghanaians took to the streets for a second day, urging their government to crack down on illegal mining in the continent's leading gold producer, as demonstrators carrying placards have been pressing the government to address illegal mining and which has been blamed for polluting rivers and damaging soil across the West African country. While large-scale mining companies must follow stringent environmental regulations, the artisanal and small-scale mining sector remains far less controlled. Let's hold up quite quickly. Now, much more than the issue of Ghanaians taking to the streets for a second day in a bid to urge their government to crack down on illegal mining, one issue strikes me fundamentally, and that is they had to resort to pressing the government to address illegal mining. And by the way, illegal mining has been blamed for polluting rivers and damaging soils across the West African country. But why? Is it that the Ghanaian government is oblivious, do not know, or refuse to take cognizance of this development? Well, hopefully in the coming days, we will be able to look at these stories in a little more detail. But then you can follow up with these stories and more on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. You may want to go to www.youtube.com/Afia Business. And while you're there, remember you should hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And guess what? We're also on Instagram. Yes, by all means, do have to follow us at AfiaBusiness_ to be part of our social media community. Up next will be more business news stories from the world of tech right after this break. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV. You're still watching Global Business. Now to the rest of the stories. And just before we get into it, just a quick reminder, we're going to be joining in live again at the Amadio Business Summit. But before then, let's get into the world of tech and bring you stories from there. The financial technology company Revolt has called out the tech giant Meta for failing willfully in combating fraud, indicating that Meta needs to go further to protect its users from online scams, as Revolt's figures, which cover most of the European Union, UK, Norway, and Switzerland, suggest purchase scams ads for bogus websites which seek payment but never deliver goods, continue as the leading source of reported fraud. However, a Meta spokesperson stated that fraud is a multi-sector spanning issue that can only be addressed by working collaboratively, as the Pilot Fraud Intelligence Reciprocal Exchange Program FIRE is designed to enable banks to share information so they can work together to protect people using their respective services, further encouraging banks, including Revolt, to join in this effort. This story is funny to me. Because on one hand, it appears that you're trying to call out and blame another company for a perceived failure, and you were sort of roped in as one of the problems or contributing factors to the perceived failure. And this is pretty much the case between Revolt and Meta. And the truth of the matter is, this is an issue that has been bedeviling the internet space or tech space for a while, because, a lot of us in Nigeria, we've experienced this. Someone puts up an ad and says that, yes, this is what I sell for this amount. You make payment available, but somehow, only for you to make payment available, that page is gone. Access to that number denied, and your money is on hold. You never get through to the person. Yes, this happens quite a lot of time. But then again, we're moving away from that real quickly to our final story, still from the world of tech. And in an attempt to end this bulletin, Chinese authorities have informally advised local companies to use domestic-made artificial intelligence AI chips over those from NVIDIA, as alternative suppliers on the mainland look to catch up with the US tech giant. Now, while there is no official loan on NVIDIA's China-tailored H20 graphics processing unit GPU, mainland AI chip users have been informed to prioritize deployment of local alternatives, including those developed by Huawei Technologies. Now, this story, if you ask me, it brings a lot of things to the fore. It reminds me, first of all, of the revolution of China and the Chinese electric vehicle industry, where it was reported that the Chinese government highly subsidized the Chinese electric vehicle industry. And from this development, it does appear that Chinese chip makers like Huawei will be highly incentivized also to produce their own chips to rival the place of NVIDIA. Only time will tell how all of that plays out eventually. Well, we will just put a pause here and remind you can follow up with these stories and other stories as they unfold on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Go to www.youtube.com/@Afia Business. And while you're there, do well to hit the like button. And remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And interestingly, you can also follow us on Instagram at AfiaBusiness_ to be a part of our social media community. We'll take a short break here. When we return, more coming. And by the way, we are going straight now to the location of venue for the Amadio Business Summit going on right now. I'll see you much later at the venue. My name is Ubong Kings. Good morning.